Meeting in order. Misty, would you call the roll, please?
Hal Glanville.
Here.
J.R. Huddleston.
Here.
Deborah Johnston. Here. Bill Lukens.
Here.
Travis Orbach.
Here.
Larry Pratt.
Here.
Gary Telkamp.
Here.
Linda Varvel.
Here.
Thank you.
Would you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our usual reminder, council, if you have a conflict of interest, please let the rest of the council know before you vote. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda for tonight?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Stereo.
Second. He can have it, Misty. I'll let him.
I knew you were going to say that. That's why I
Yeah.
gave it to you. Thanks, Larry.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from the January 21st council meeting?
I make a motion to approve the minutes from the January 21st, 2025 council meeting.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Can I get a motion to approve the bills in between?
I'll make a motion to approve the bills in between for $156,470.55.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Can I get a motion to approve the current claims?
Make a motion to approve the current claims in the amount of $84,639.06.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Can I get a motion to approve the 2024 payable claims?
I make a motion to approve the 2024 payable claims of $3,484.99.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. And can I get a motion to approve the Wells Fargo credit card claims?
I'll make a motion to approve the Wells Fargo credit card claims for $5,210.15.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Under our council updates, the only update we have tonight is from Shedco. Andrea?
Good evening, Mayor Nelson. Can you hear me?
Yes.
And City Council. I'm not sure I'm at the right place, but I'm going to move forward with this. I am coming to propose a celebration for the completion of our 3 years of highway reconstruction in the form of a giant construction cone burn.
May I ask who's going to donate the cones?
Well, I'm going to go through, I prepared for this.
Oh, okay.
So I contacted Riley Stephen and Jeff Weedo, that's your voluntary fire department fire chief, and Jeff Weedo's with Wildland Fire Forestry Department, and asked them to find a place that would be appropriate, which they did, and I've been up to the spot. And the place they chose is up at Butler Park. If you're standing in front of the library, right at the door facing out, It's to the right and across the street. There's a large area that's basically gravel and buffalo grass, which is about that tall at this time of year. And there's no trees around it. It's far enough away from the parking that everyone could still use it as parking. There's good egress, so that's all taken care of. Then I talked to Tracy Bastian about spearheading the construction, and he said he would be happy to do that and that he would also provide the music. I think he would like to engage the maintenance crew in that process. And then I went to ProBuild, and Randy, who's the manager there, offered to supply the materials. He has untreated timbers, 16 feet. So that's probably the max height, and that's, somebody say something? So that's as tall as we could make it, which seems about right for that area. And he also has some, what do you call it? It's a type of paper that just happens to be bright orange that we could wrap a TP structure with and then use white butcher paper to make the stripes. Okay? And set it up on pallets, put some brush in there so there wouldn't be any kind of fuel inside the cone itself, and the cone would be open at the top. So it wouldn't take very long to burn it. It would probably go, well, at the burning beetle, that very large structure goes in about 15 minutes. And we're talking about something a little simpler. So we have the materials taken care of, and everything that he volunteered is all non-toxic to burn. And I'd like to do it on March 8th, which is also, it's a Saturday evening. It's also the date of the Holistic Health Fair, and we normally get a lot of traffic from out of town, so it's a nice time to do that. I feel like I'm leaving out something, but questions? Oh, there's one other thing. I was asked to speak at Radically Rural, which is a nationwide rural development organization out of New Hampshire, about our road reconstruction and the steps we took and the things we learned and what went well and what didn't go well. And one of the things that was asked is, what are you going to do to celebrate? And I said, we're going to burn a cone. And people from 35 states squealed on the gallery view. So the nation is watching us.
That's an awesome idea.
Yeah. So I guess I need to get a vote, and I know I need 2 hearings. Is that correct? No?
No, I think we could do a resolution of, Misty, help me out.
The
Do it.
motion is the same as the resolution, but you have to give public notice, so we couldn't do it at this meeting. But we've never been approached by anybody asking to burn cones before, so I don't have any experience with giving you a legitimate, good answer for this. You decide.
We could talk about it this Thursday
safety?
at the Safety Committee meeting to talk it through, think it through to make sure we don't jump to an improper conclusion, but that would give us time to, if it is the right thing to do, then we could get it on the next council agenda as a new business item, if that would be acceptable.
Mayor, you think we should talk about it at Parks too? I mean, I don't see where it would be a problem.
To build it.
That's Tracy's ball park.
Tracy's going to build it?
He's going to spearhead it, and he suggested that he could get the maintenance crew to help him do it, if I could help with the materials. So when is the Parks and Rec?
This Wednesday.
This Wednesday. If I'm free, can I come to the safety meeting?
They're open to the public.
And would it be appropriate to invite Riley as well, and Jeff, maybe?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay. So I'll let them know.
That's 1 o'clock Thursday.
1 o'clock, thank you.
And you'll be talking this Wednesday also?
Yeah, 2 o'clock here at the Mueller Center.
Is the Parks and Rec meeting?
Yes.
Yep. 1 to 2, I need to write that down. Okay, anything else? Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Communications from the public. Is there anybody who would like to address the council tonight? All right. We'll move on to personnel. Can I get a motion to approve personnel actions A through F?
Make a motion to approve personnel actions A through F.
Second?
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. On to our ordinance. Can I get a motion to approve the second reading of ordinance 1262?
I make a motion to approve the second reading ordinance of 1262, an ordinance transferring 3 lots in the Boulder Falls addition from rural service district to urban service district.
Second?
Let's do JR.
No, he got the last one.
Got to share.
Fine.
Discussion? Misty, would you call the roll, please?
Travis Orbach,
Yes.
Gary Telkamp,
Yes.
Hal Glanville,
Yes.
Linda Varvel,
Yes.
Deborah Johnston,
Yes.
Bill Lukens,
Yes.
Larry Pratt,
Yes.
J.R. Huddleston.
Yes.
Thank you.
The motion passes. Under our resolutions, can I get a motion to approve Resolution 2025-5?
I make a motion to approve 2025-5, a resolution establishing guidelines for work requested by or benefiting other businesses, organizations, political subdivisions, individuals, firms, and corporations to be performed by the city workforce and/or utilizing city equipment and/or materials.
Second?
Discussion. Council, I'd like to draw your attention to the second page, first paragraph. About 3/4 of the way through it, I added a sentence for your consideration. The City Council reserves the right to waive fees by formal action if determined it is in the best interest of the city. I felt it was important to add that language. The resolution speaks to the fact that if the city is going to provide, in a particular case tonight, millings or any product from the city or equipment or labor to private organizations, then we need to bill them for those charges or for those costs. But I think we need to have a mechanism that allows us to waive those fees if the work that is being done is in the best interest of the city. And we'll talk more detail about that when we get to our new business item B, the Youth Baseball Association pitching machine. I think that's an excellent example of using this language to allow you to waive a fee. Again, if it's in the best interest of the city to waive those fees. So that was the reason that I asked that this particular sentence be added to this resolution. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. We're on to our second resolution. Can I get a motion to approve Resolution 2025-6?
Make a motion to approve 2025-6, a resolution to surplus city property, wastewater Bobcat for trade-in.
Second?
Larry. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. On to new business item A. It's a discussion only. And would the council reconsider the ordinances to extend business hours and allow cultivation and manufacturing of medical cannabis in Hot Springs? Before we get started, for the public, this is a discussion-only item amongst the council. We're not going to have any back and forth with the public. We need to figure out other topics to get this many people here to our city council meetings regularly. This is the way they should be. So I appreciate you folks coming. Given the last 2 council meetings we had, council is well aware that there are people in favor of the cultivation and manufacturing, and there are people opposed to it. So they understand that it's important to the public. They now need to have that conversation amongst themselves and see what they're going to do, whether they're going to bring this back in front of the, for another discussion or agenda item to either extend the business hours and or extend the business hours and allow cultivation and manufacturing. So again, this is strictly for the council to discuss and arrive at a decision, but I think it is necessary for you to do the due diligence and make the decision about how you want to handle this.
Mayor, I'd like to say something, if I may, as I voted for having the medical marijuana dispensary. And we, at the time, were talking about setting the hours in accordance with what the current pharmacies are running. I don't think we need to do that. I think we need to let them run their hours for whatever they want. If they can pay their personnel to stay there and run a business, that's up to them. So I think we've got 2 issues here, if I may. I think one is that issue of the hours of operation, and then the other one is to discuss would be to allow the cultivation manufacturing.
I agree.
I think there's just 2 different issues there.
I agree with that as well. I agree with that as well.
I agree. I have no problem extending their hours of operation for the dispensary. Yeah.
Well, I'll open up with the elephant in the room. I've got a few things to say here written down. Just a little history lesson up front. We all know that Hot Springs is the only town in the Black Hills that was created not surrounding mining. It was built around and centered around the healing properties of the location, the weather, and the waters. Over the last 10 years, there's been kind of a renaissance, 10 years at least, but I've been involved in the last 10 years of a renaissance to bring that back to Hot Springs as our core draw. We're seen as a healing center that it is, and it's always been that. And there are a lot of practitioners throughout town, throughout the county, that practice in the background around here with alternative therapies of all sorts of various types. And if you read the paper this week, we have a brand new Center of Wellness that has just opened their doors, and that is Smiling Sage Wellness down in the half of the Boy Scout building, and alternative therapies plus massage, which is pretty accepted everywhere. And and then the last month or so, we approved for in-home business of Radiant Health Yoga and Wellness on 5th Street, and Moccasin Springs. I think they're in their 4th or 5th year. These are all huge draws. Moccasin Springs it's created problems on Minnesota Avenue because there's so much traffic. And we dealt with that. We painted yellow lines, and we made plans and made adjustments. But it's a huge draw to our town, bringing in more taxes, motels, restaurants, the shops. Everybody benefits from Moccasin Springs. And of course, there's our Evans Plunge and Mammoth site, I don't need to go on, but I've heard over the years how the council does not support our businesses. And here, today, we're discussing the Dakota Kind business. They came to us 2 years ago under state mandate, but they've proven to be a good neighbor. They've proven to be very conscientious. If you talk to them, visit with them, they're very knowledgeable. He's not a drug dealer. There's so much fear-mongering about the whole situation. But he is a healing practitioner with a specialty of cannabis. And if you talk to him for 5 minutes, I mean, he's talking way over your head with all sorts of scientific stuff. And I'm aware of that stuff. Science, I love science, being in the medical for 40 years. I'm aware of the pain killing and anxiety, anti-anxiety, and all the medicinal purposes there is. We have someone who espouses mushroom coffee on Facebook and other non-FDA approved supplements. I mean, it's everywhere. But we have a responsible person who's following the law. They have never had the police come to their business. And we should be happy when any industry that comes to our town, I mean, we have so few industries. And again, we've been wanting industry to come, but we want clean industry. We don't want polluting industry. And here we have a clean industry because we've been told that it stinks, that it's toxic compost. I went up to a grow facility out on Deadwood Avenue in Rapid, and you wouldn't know what was there. There's 2 buildings, one of them, they're about the size of what Dakota Kind is. It's called Dakota Green. What is it called? Yeah, Dakota Green. 1810 and 1820, Rand Road, if anyone wants to go drive by or knock on their door. But there's a black box on the outside, which is a filtration system, and unless they open the door, coming and going, you barely got, you got a whiff when they open the door. But there was no smell on the outside. And like I said, you could, and then the other building in front of them was the manufacturing building. And you could not tell what was there if you didn't know. And even if you did know, you couldn't tell what was there. But it is, I learned that there's the difference between an enclosed facility, which is what that was, and that's what Dakota Kind is an enclosed facility versus an open grow, and that's the regular greenhouse. We have River Run Greenhouse, and right across the street, just outside of city limits, or I don't know if it is city limits, there's a brand new greenhouse with the see-through roof on it. Nobody's questioning what's going to grow in that, what kind of fertilizers they're going to use there. I heard tea. What kind of tea? Is it going to be peppermint? That stinks. Tomatoes, those stink. But we're not going to have any control over that. So there is no smell to an enclosed facility. And as we don't notice them now, we aren't going to notice them with what they're proposing to do. But there's a couple things I would like to tweak if we go forward with this, is to require it or anything. We have the option of 2, I think, 1 per every 1,500 population, not to allow the open grow, because that's where you get the smell. It's open. It's all a natural. We should enforce or require anything, if another one would want to come, to be and remain a closed facility or a sealed process. So those are my points. We need to support our businesses, and he has been a good neighbor, and he's very knowledgeable in what he's doing, and he's serving a purpose. and he will be a draw to bring people to town. They do pay taxes that will enhance our base. So that's my stance. Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah. Who's next? Anyone else have anything they'd like to say?
I'll go ahead and make some comments that I've essentially spent just about every day since the last council meeting doing the due diligence that I should have conducted since Jessica came to that Public Safety Committee meeting and requested the ordinance change that they did. And I got to say, if I would have done the due diligence then that I should have done, I would not have supported the ordinance change that I indicated that I would have. And for that, I apologize to the council and to Dakota Kind and to the public for failing to do my job. I contacted a number of communities that have cultivation, talked to city officials. I went to LEED and looked at that facility. I went to looked at the Rand Road facility, talked to the owner there. In every one of the cultivation facilities that I looked at, they were all remote. They were not in a residential or commercial area. In every community or every facility that I discussed with the city officials, they all indicated, by the way, I did also talk to Newell. That was not an apple-and-apple comparison. They were a greenhouse type facility, not an enclosed facility, so they weren't part of the comparison. They actually did not have their license renewed because of the odor and light problems. So not part of my decision-making process. Well, that's what I was told. So what I'm telling you is what went into my decision-making process. I'm not going to argue it. You can agree with me or disagree with me. The information I got said that in all cases, there is some odor involved at times. Forrest, I am talking. I don't want to be interrupted. I have the floor. Forrest, whoever's talking, I have the floor. Please respect my comments. Bottom line, the due diligence that I've done, I will not support cultivation and manufacturing in Hot Springs. I will, however, support their request for an hour change. I contacted Lynn's Dakota Mart. I asked them, who sets your hours? Is it a regulatory issue or is it a company issue? The pharmacist told me it's a company issue. We can't make enough money staying open on Sunday, so if Forrest can make money staying open 8 to 8, 7 days a week, I'm okay with changing the ordinance for that. So based on what I learned, I will not support the ordinance change, and I see no reason to bring it before council.
Please withhold your applause.
I did miss one last comment was, I mentioned tweaking the resolution to specify allowing only enclosed facilities, and I'd also like to mention that we would be able to not renew the licenses if issues of smell or law enforcement became an issue. And Misty did contact our lawyers and asked whether about not renewing an existing license, and they said that as long as we have well-documented just cause, there should be no problem not renewing a license. So we could give them a trial period and have them prove themselves.
I did conduct a study. I contacted several people. Most people that I contacted were against it. Only one had no comment because they said it didn't affect them because it wasn't anywhere near where they lived. However, in my research, I did find out that although not all cannabis plants emit a smell throughout their entire growing process, there are some that emit a smell 4 to 5 weeks before harvest and continue 3 to 4 weeks during their harvest. And the smell depends on the strain of the plant. And my concern with the whatever filtration system, small system, whatever you're going to have, is if you have those smells confined to the interior of your building, how is that going to affect your employees for OSHA standards? So that was my concern on that.
Please bear in mind that this conversation is for the council.
Yep.
I'm hoping that that's a rhetorical question, and we should keep any way of asking questions to the council only.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and speak up too. I did talk to several towns, different places, different people. I got pretty much the same comment that Bill got from there. I will support the hours, but I will not support cultivation and manufacturing.
Hey, we recognize how sensitive this is to everybody. This isn't an easy decision that they're making individually. You need to respect that, please. Anyone else?
Just thinking out loud and talking out loud, you know, if Dakota Kind, if they were growing and manufacturing, what would happen if they decided a week from now or a month from now or a year from now to sell it to someone else? And we know what we'd be getting here, but we wouldn't know what we'd be getting then. It's just a...
They'd have to get a new application.
New application.
Yeah, well, that's just my question then.
Yep.
And I will say that on the way out the door, I had 2 people contact me that were opposed to it in my ward. So I just comments I'm just making. And I don't have an issue with the hours. I guess I already stated that.
I agree with you. I have no issues with the hours. I did walk around my ward, and I made contacts with some of my constituents to make sure what I was getting on some phone calls I got. I got some extra data or information from them. I had 3 yes. I had 7 doesn't matter to them, one way or the other. And I had 15 hard no's. So I would vote in accordance with my ward. I would not support the manufactured cultivation.
Right.
I will remind the council that the state of South Dakota voted 70% in favor of medical marijuana, and Fall River County voted 64 point something for it as well.
We're not arguing the merits of medical marijuana as right now. We're talking about cultivation, manufacturing. If respectfully, this is not done here in Hot Springs, there are still the facilities that are up other towns that people can go get their medical marijuana. So that's not what we're talking about right now. We are talking about cultivation, manufacturing. I'd like to keep it to that subject matter. Thank you.
I'm perfectly aware of what we're talking about.
Al? Travis?
I haven't changed my view. I think I'm still a yes. I think it's important that, I believe there are certain individuals that need access to alternative medications, and I think as, you've got two sides. You've got the business side and the medical side, which is one thing. I see this as an opportunity for the business to become more efficient, to become a little less expensive for those who out there who need this medication. And the other side, I could see what they're thinking, right? There's a lot of, not with all respect, there's a lot of hearsay out there, So, I mean, I've physically seen individuals come in and say that they need this medication in order to live a life that's satisfactory to them. And I've seen others come in and saying that, it's going to smell like this, or it's going to give off light like that, or whatever. And so that's how I'm basing my decision.
When I did my diligence, like Mr. Lucan, I didn't go, it made no sense to me to go all over the state and find out what people thought. The only thing that matters to me was my ward and other places I go in town. And for 2 days I made a point of asking people specifically whether they were for it or against it, and trying to weigh what rumor or whatever they were coming up with. I just wanted to ask them directly, would you approve of growing within the city limits? And 3 out of 5 said no, bar none, every time, 3 out of 5. So I would go with the hours, but I couldn't go with the cultivation.
Linda?
I can go with increasing the hours, but not the cultivation and manufacturing.
Before we go back through the count one more time, it's not right for me to sit up here and not say anything at all. I don't have a vote. I remember talking to Dakota Kind when they came to public safety the first time about cultivation and manufacturing. And I'd mentioned a number of things. My first question to him was, is the request coincidental with the hope that recreational marijuana would be approved? They assured me that it wasn't, that it was part of their business plan to ask the city for this. When it comes to cultivation and manufacturing, it seems like the 2 different meetings we've had, what's got lost in this conversation is the merits, either for or against medical marijuana. And where I land on that is that both my wife's side of the family and my side of the family, we seem to have a lot of Parkinson's disease in our family. And we recognize that whether it's a placebo effect or not, medical marijuana does help people with Parkinson's and a lot of other diseases. It's not my place to tell somebody whether they should take marijuana or an opioid to help improve their quality of life. So for me, I voted for medical marijuana. I will never vote for recreational marijuana, but this isn't what we're talking about. What I had said to Forrest and Jessica at the public safety meeting was that it seems kind of hypocritical of me to support medical marijuana, but not support the growing or the cultivation of it that helps you in your business. So I'd said that I could see myself voting for that. I don't have a vote. But I didn't want to sit up here and seem like I was completely indifferent to it. We all have opinions. And I felt the public deserved to hear another one. I say it doesn't affect the vote. The other thing I wanted to mention, and I'm not advocating for or against in this statement, I've just been asked by a number of people this particular question, and I think we all learned when we were going through school that if you have a question, You're probably not the only one to have it, so go ahead and ask the question and see what the answer to it is. Other people can benefit from it also. The question that I've been asked by a number of folks is, does the city of Hot Springs have to allow cultivation and manufacturing? And by codified law, we do not. By codified law, no local government may prohibit a dispensary, either expressly or through the enactment of an ordinance that makes the operation of the dispensary impractical in the jurisdiction. I asked our attorneys to confirm what I understood our codified law to say, and their response is, there is no authority that requires a city to permit cultivation, harvesting, or manufacturing. So for folks out there that think that the council, by not allowing it, would be going against codified law, they would not be doing that. So I wanted to offer those comments. The other thing I need to mention is that the effect of what the council will decide tonight doesn't change regardless of what you call it. There was a flyer passed around that the council will be voting. They can't vote tonight. It is an agenda item for it to vote on. So they'll be indicating their preference of what they want to do with this particular ordinance, whether they want to bring it back in front of them or not. So, council, do you have anything else you want to say?
Mr. Mayor, if I may, I would like to make a non-topic comment to Forrest, if I may. More of an apology than anything else, if that's all right.
Yes.
Forrest, just so you know, I had my eyes dilated this morning, and I didn't realize it wasn't you that was interrupting me, so even the first row is nothing but a blur, so I apologize at speaking out. I thought it was you that was interrupting me, so I apologize to you for that.
That's fine. Anyone else? So as the discussion item mentions, the two topics in front of you are to extend the business hours and cultivation and manufacturing. So I was just keeping a little notes here. My understanding is, what I've noted is, Bill, you're in support of changing the hours?
Correct.
Not changing the ordinance?
Correct.
Larry, likewise, hours, not the ordinance?
Yes, sir.
Hal?
Yes.
Travis, you're in support of the ordinance change?
Like it was 2 weeks ago.
Okay. All right, so that would be the hours also. JR, hours only?
Correct.
Linda, hours only?
Correct.
Deborah, both hours and ordinance?
Yes.
And Gary?
Hours only.
Hours only? So we come up with 6 in favor of changing the hours?
8.
And, I'm sorry, 8 hours? And only 2 in favor of changing the ordinance. Council, do you agree?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
All right, so then my understanding is what you want brought back in front of you is to change the ordinances to allow for the extended business hours only.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
So we'll make those changes and we'll put that, bring that back in front of you the next council meeting. Thank you, everyone. So we're on to our new business, item B. Can I get a motion to approve the Youth Baseball Association pitching machine area project?
Make a motion to approve the Youth Baseball Association pitching machine area project requesting 150 tons of millings, city purchase value of approximately $600, with city employees and equipment transporting millings from the city shop to the Butler Park location. Request heard and recommended by Public Works Committee.
Second.
Discussion.
The question was brought up to me as to why this didn't come before Parks and Rec, and I did talk to Bill, so I understand what the reasoning behind it.
Oversight on my part, Larry. Jesse, are you here? Yep. Come on down, please.
Good evening, everybody.
Thank you for finding time to join us. If you all remember, Jesse Nas is with the baseball group, so I asked him to attend. And before I ask him to make some comments, this was the new business item that I was talking with you folks about, that by approving the language in the ordinance itself that allows the city to waive those fees, if you feel that it's in direct support of the city. When it comes to the youth baseball, there have been a number of questions that have been raised about this particular topic, and I just wanted to give Jesse the opportunity to talk about that. In my mind, allowing 150 tons of millings out of 15,000 to be used for the batting cage at Butler Park comes directly back to the city. We're moving the millings from one location to another to expand one of our youth programs within the city. There will be some hours moving the millings from the street shop area to Butler Park. Then there will be volunteers that would actually lay the millings. But as far as us placing them or working them, it's just a matter of hauling them from the street shop to Butler Park, dumping them off, and then the folks take it from there. And Jesse, if you just talk a little bit about what you folks have been doing in preparation for this, I think that'd be helpful for council to know.
Can do. I can just give you a little background on some of the things. If you remember here a couple of years ago, we as the association volunteered to help take over the summer rec program to keep baseball going through all age groups from T-ball all the way up to now we're going to have high school and Legion ball. So with that, we promised to be good stewards and take care of all the kids that want to play baseball in town, and we've took upon ourselves to do a lot of projects up there and raise more funds by through our organization. Currently, we 2 years ago now started and put in with you guys' support a little kids field for our smallest kids. We put that T-ball field in. I think our association raised about $20,000 to get that thing done. Now the next project was to get batting cages installed up there. There was a spot for them previously, but it was kind of it wasn't really secured and enclosed. So this new spot we found, it just needs some leveling so we can make it happen. We've already put in about $10,000 on this project for the pitching machines themselves, and then it's probably going to be, depending on, hopefully you guys are to approve those millings, but that'll save us a few thousand to level the space so we can put up the fence and the cages around and get that all done. It'll probably be another 10 to 12,000. So we're investing, doing a lot of fundraising to make that program where it needs to be for the community. So, any other questions about baseball? I know we've came a long ways. When I first moved here 16 years ago, there was no baseball. If you want to play baseball, you had to run up to Rapid City to play baseball. So now that within those 16 years that we're going to have our first Post 71 team this coming summer since 2006, I believe. I think we've came quite a long ways.
Yeah, I got one question.
Yeah.
If I'm driving by and I see a baseball on the road, can I keep it?
I'd like you to return it, but you know where to find me, Larry.
Thank you, Jess.
Safety with the batting cage, that question has been raised.
Yeah, these cages will be behind like a lock fence, so we will allow access to, because we're good partners. If softball wants to use them when we're not using them, we'll make sure those softball folks have a key to the cages as well. The main thing it'll be is we just want to have another spot for our kids to have practice. So it'll, like I said, it'll be locked up. The machines will be put away unless there's like actual coach supervision there, because we just won't leave those set now. So shouldn't really be an issue. It should be controlled access. So who wants to go in there will be supervised, and safety shouldn't be an issue.
And you talked about your group taking over the summer rec, baseball programs and whatever, so the batting cages will be available to the summer rec program?
Of course.
All jokes aside, though, I got one question. I've been contacted several times by people in the community asking questions about the baseball program, and I've always directed them to Gabby. Is that okay? That way she can have them go direct to you, or is there something that you would like put in place?
No, that's fine. We work with Gabby, so she feeds the information. It's just that rec side of things. We do all the registrations to our Hot Springs Youth Baseball website. It just makes it easier because that way it's all online.
That's true.
So any questions that we've gotten, Gabby's forwarded that rec stuff on to us.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
I wish you all the success. I can't wait to see American Legion Baseball come back.
Yeah. No, it's exciting. It's been a long building process.
You're doing a good job. Keep up the good work.
Anyone else? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. We'll figure out who you need to work with. Jacqueline, if you'd help us out with that.
Of course.
When do you need the millings?
I'll probably have Chad Olstead get in contact with you, because he's the guy that's going to be working on it from our side. So, yeah. Okay. We'll have him be in contact with the work. I suppose when the snow goes away.
All right. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Going to get a motion to approve new business item C, approve contract 2025-4 between the Evans Plunge Mineral Springs and Lori McNair.
I make a motion to approve the contract number 2025-4 between Evans Plunge Mineral Springs and Lori McNair for fitness instruction at the Evans Plunge Mineral Springs facility.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Can I get a motion to approve new business item D, approve contract 2025-5 between Evans Plunge Mineral Springs and Monica Hotz?
I make a motion to approve the contract number 2025-5 between Evans Plunge Mineral Springs and Monica Hotz for fitness instruction at the EPMS facility.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Can I get a motion to approve new business item E, approve extending the 2022 airport haying agreement with Merrill Hay Company?
I'll make a motion to approve extending the 2022 airport haying agreement with Merrill Hay Company for the 2025 haying season with no changes.
Second.
Hal?
Hal.
Thank you.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Can I get a motion on new business item F, approve and publish twice a notice to bidders for the lease of one city-owned retail on-sale liquor license?
Make a motion to approve and publish twice a notice to bidders for the lease of one city-owned retail on-sale liquor license. Sealed bids will be opened publicly and read aloud at the 3/3/25 regular council meeting at 7:15 p.m.
Second.
The second?
Larry?
Thank you.
Discussion?
It's okay.
Misty, could you embellish on this a little bit? This doesn't happen a lot.
It does not. Without sharing too much information about the business that was not able to keep their license, it reverts back to the city. They hadn't been able to operate their business using the license, and it was set to expire anyway. But the business wasn't able to sell with the license, so it came back to the city, so now we have one available. It is only one, and its minimum value is $50,000. So we opened it up to bidders and see if anybody's interested.
Thank you.
How often do they pay that $50,000?
One time, and then as long as they keep up the license, then they just pay their annual renewal license fee. And you can sell the business with the license. So if I if I got this license and then I sold my business, the value of the liquor license stays with the business. This particular business wasn't able to make that happen in the time they needed to, so it reverted back to the city.
What's the annual?
$1,200.
$1,200.
Anyone else? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Going to get a motion on new business item G. Approve and authorize the mayor to sign the training and consulting contract with Gideon Group LLC.
Motion to approve.
Just a minute, please, Deborah. Before I ask you to actually make a motion, I got ahead of myself. I handed each of you a email that our attorneys sent. And if you go to the second page of your agreement, I got to get to the agreement myself. Actually, it's not the second page, it's Exhibit A in your packet. On Exhibit A, under the scope, we're adding the language approximate to each of the number of personnel. It's possible that Hot Springs Police Department may have 4, Fall River Sheriff's Office may have 2. So approximate will be added to each of the number of personnel. So it would be approximately 3 personnel for Hot Springs, approximately 3 personnel for Fall River, approximately 3 personnel for Custer Sheriff's Office. And then under the schedule, the sentence that reads, "The aggregate hours for this period must be at minimum 120 hours for the training of the SHSAU team," rather than individual. And then a note, this does not require 120 hours for each individual. And then when it talks about if the consultant fails to provide the minimum training hours, add for the team, it shall constitute a breach of this contract by a consultant. So those are the changes to the Gideon contract. Changes approximate for the number of people for each agency. Changes 120 hours for the training of the SHSAU team. Note, this does not require 120 hours for each individual. And if the consultant fails to provide the minimum training hours for the team. All right. Thank you, Deborah. If you'd like to go ahead and make your motion again, please.
I make a motion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign the amended training and consulting contract with Gideon Group LLC at a total cost of $9,000, which will be reimbursed by the Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant, accepted December 16th of 2024.
Second.
Discussion? And who do we have with the police department here to answer any questions that council may have?
Mayor, I just got,
Come on down, please.
Mayor, I didn't see the word amended in this.
Say again?
I didn't see the word amended in this.
Well, he made
He
these
gave us-
changes.
Yeah, it's not in your copy, that's why he read through it.
Okay,
He made the amendments right now. then.
okay.
Ah. Being double teamed. All right. Council, do you have any questions for the captain or the chief?
Yeah, I have a couple of questions. What made you guys form an LLC? Just to accept this grant?
So
We didn't form an LLC.
they're not Gideon.
Well, who's the Southern Hills Special Assignment Unit?
Southern Hills Special Assignment Unit is a group task force between Custer County Sheriff's Office, Fall River County Sheriff's Office, and Hot Springs Police Department.
Okay. Is it a legal entity, though?
It
Or is it like a private member organization, or what kind of entity is it?
What would you call it? It's basically a SWAT team.
Oh, okay. Okay. So if we're approving this, I'm just curious about the entity structure. So if we're approving this, does that mean that implies that we have authority over it? The council?
Authority over
The SWAT?
the SWAT team?
Yeah.
The sheriffs and the chief of police will have that authority over the team and what they do. There is about 100-page policy manual that is in process between the three agencies, and that is also how Pennington County and Rapid City, their joint SWAT team operates, is under that policy. So just the same as us operating under the policy of the police department, this would be a policy for that joint task force. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. So you've got the three, it's its own organization, which is SWAT. I don't know much about the SWAT. So we just happen to be the ones out of Custer and Fall River County. It's just on the council to approve this grant.
Right, so we're the ones that applied for the grant.
Okay. So you
it's
applied on
between-
behalf of the SWAT team, or the SWAT team applied for it?
Chief applied for it. So this grant was designed for upstarts, for teams that were starting out. A lot of grants out there we looked at were for teams that were already operating, where this one was to help a team get started. So.
And this helps you guys develop like communication and coordination with each other?
Yep.
That training, okay. All right. Thanks, Captain.
Anyone else?
So what you're saying, Captain Shiley, this is a true, tried and true program that's been out there in the real world application, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Anyone else?
It's an opportunity for us to receive a 100% refundable grant funding program to train your officers, Fall River County Sheriff's Department, whoever they designate, and the Custer County Sheriff's Department. We're just the ones applying for it, but all the money's coming back, so it's all going to be paid. It's just free.
Well, this is actually utilizing the grant money that we already applied for.
Right.
There was equipment portion of the grant and a training portion of the grant. So this is spending the training portion of the grant.
And then I noticed here on the, sorry.
Correct.
On this, I noticed here on the bottom of this handout we have, it said that also attached are the acknowledgements for both Custer and Fall River. So you guys, each entity is in agreement with this, okay.
Yes. Yeah, we had a meeting with the sheriffs and the chief of police, and everybody's thumbs up.
Thank you.
So Captain Shively, you and I had talked earlier today, and I had asked you about on page 5, this is for council if they want to follow along, item C, the consultant shall perform the services at any place or location and at such times as the consultant shall determine. So my question to you was, where's the training going to be? Will it be in Hot Springs? Will it be elsewhere? And you'd mentioned that there will be occasions where the training will be out of Hot Springs, and you'd specifically mentioned Ellsworth Air Force Base.
Yeah, so we have trained at Ellsworth Air Force Base in the past under when Mike Close was chief. They have a shoot house where you can arrange the walls any configuration you want to model maybe a floor plan that you're going to do something with. So that shoot house is designed just for those operations with simunition rounds. So you can have live force on force. There's not a lot of places that offer that. Patrick Kelly has connections there at the Air Force Base to be able to utilize that. There's also other buildings there that we could utilize for CQB training, room clearing, things like that. We'll also probably doing some of our training at the range in Edgemont. Baldwin Gun Club has been super, they've been wonderful working with us, wanting us out there to train on their range. They'll shut a section down for a portion of time for us to be able to do that. And also Custer, there's a range up in Custer where we do a lot of our training as well. So he has connections throughout the Black Hills for places to be able to train. When we've been using a house up at the VA to train in, and I just heard this term recently, but when you use one house, even as complicated as this house is, you get to learn every corner and you start to game it. I assume that means if you ever watch a kid playing a video game and he starts at level 1, he knows level 1 like the back of his hand. So you don't want to game it, if that makes sense.
Sure.
You want something that's new and fresh and you haven't seen before, and you got to go in and do your thing.
You can use your mouse.
So where do we go after September of 25 when this contract is done? How do we maintain you and the group?
How to maintain the group? The group will continue to train. This training is going to give us a baseline to then continue to train from. We have one operator on the team that was previous SWAT who has been conducting the training. We wanted to bring in an outside entity so that we have more accountability than just ourselves and maybe be parallel to somewhat of a good old boys club, pat each other on the back. We want someone else to come in that's done this every day in their job and be able to come in and give us an accurate assessment of where we are, where we need to go. So once that's done in September, we will be much more trained up. We will find at that point with the training budget, different trainings to send guys to bring that training back. We may be able to find more grants to bring another guy in to do some training. So there's lots of options, but we will continue to train, and that's one of the responsibilities of a team is to continue that training. In fact, the qualification is more quarterly than annually. So it'll be a high level operating team that we want to keep maintained and oiled well.
Excellent, thanks.
The reason for my question to the captain about understanding where the training's going to be, if council approves this item this afternoon, you're essentially, or this evening, you're saying that you're fine with these folks going off to training. Misty, would there be a need for them to fill out a training request every time they go up to Rapid City? They're taking a city vehicle, they're doing it on regular business hours?
I would say that meets the qualifications according to our policy for requesting travel training from you that everyone else does.
But council's approving that travel training?
They're approving a consulting agreement.
All right, so we'll work through that.
shouldn't be that hard.
So in anticipation of that, if you can identify the times that the officers will be leaving Hot Springs for training, then we can begin looking at that and see where we're going to go with that. Thank you. Any other questions?
Just a comment, if people are wondering, why does Hot Springs need this type of training? Just since I've been a resident of Scannerland, I can think of at least 3 incidents where we've had activity where, and since you used the word, I'm going to go ahead and use it. There have been incidents that met the SWAT type criteria where there were either barricaded people with firearms or shots had been fired and multiple agencies, multiple officers responded. And so this level of training, the level of equipment they'll be purchasing would have been absolutely appropriate for officer safety. So it's not just a gee whiz, we get to do some cool stuff and buy some really neat gadgets. It's necessary and appropriate for what their officers are facing. Did I overstate it?
I'd like to also say, since I've been on council, and this isn't in any way stroking your ego or anything like this, but we as a council, I would, not speaking for everybody here, just my observation, that we've really worked hard to get this police force going where it's at today. We haven't done it. We've supported it, to me, but you guys have done the legwork. You've figured out what needs to be done to get everybody to go home safe at night, and I appreciate that and applaud you. Thank you.
It's nice.
And I really appreciate the Hot Springs Police Department working in connection with the Fall River County Sheriff's Department and with the camaraderie that y'all have and stuff, because sometimes it takes more than a group of 2.
And it's better to be proactive than reactive. That works so much better.
Anyone else? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion passes. Thank you, gentlemen.
Stay safe out there, guys.
You're welcome to stick around. You're welcome to stick around.
Come on.
We have an expectation of one of you sticking around.
We're not serving popcorn.
All right, can I get a motion for new business item H? Approve and authorize the mayor to sign the consent to assignment of the solid waste and recycling collection and disposal contract.
Make a motion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign the consent to assignment of the solid waste and recycling collection and disposal contract with Sanders Sanitation and Waste Connections of South Dakota, Inc.
Second.
Discussion. So this breaks down to Sanders Sanitation is selling their business to, who are they selling it to? Outfitter Waste, Iron Outfitter Waste Services. Nope.
Waste Connections?
Yeah.
Okay.
Waste Connections of South Dakota. So Waste Connections of South Dakota is assuming all the responsibilities under the contract that you've already approved with Sanders Sanitation. The attorneys have taken a look at it, and they did add a section in it. They expanded on Section K a little bit, so they're fine with the contract. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion passes. Can I get a motion to approve new business item I? Approve the transfer of a Toro 3500D Sidewinder mower.
I make a motion to approve the transfer of a Toro 3500D Sidewinder mower from the Southern Hills Golf Course Fund 620 to the Parks Department in the General Fund 101.
Second.
Lukens?
Bill?
Bill? Did you second that?
Yes.
Thank you.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Can I get a motion on new business item J, reappoint Chris Katke and Assad Khan to the Business Improvement District Board?
I make a motion to reappoint Chris Katke and Assad Khan to the Business Improvement District Board for a 3-year term, 2025 to 2027.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Going to get a motion for new business item K, a travel training request from Police Captain Phil Shively and Police Department Administrative Assistant Charlotte Shively.
I make a motion to approve the travel training request from Police Captain Phil Shively and Police Department Administrative Assistant Charlotte Shively to attend the 2025 Sex Offender Registry Regional Training to be held in Deadwood, South Dakota, April 7th through April 9th.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Can I get a motion for new business item L, a travel training request from Police Chief Ross Norton and Officer Brandon Peterson?
Make a motion to approve travel training request from Police Chief Ross Norton and Officer Brandon Peterson to attend the 2025 Narcotics Officer Conference to be held in Deadwood, 4/30 through 5/2.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. And can I get a motion for new business item M, a travel training request for Police Chief Ross Norton?
Make a motion to approve a travel training request from Police Chief Ross Norton to attend the 2025 Spring Sheriff's and Police Chief Conference to be held in Deadwood, South Dakota, 4/14 through 4/17.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. On to committee reports, Administrative and Finance. JR?
Admin and Finance will meet February 10th, 1 p.m. at the Mueller Civic Center. All are welcome.
Thank you. Airport Advisory. Gary?
Airport Advisory Committee will meet Thursday, February 6th at 8:30 a.m. at the airport.
Thank you. Custer Fall River Regional Waste Management. Travis?
The Custer Fall River Regional Waste Management District Board will next meet on Thursday, March 13th, 7 o'clock here at the Mueller Center.
Thank you. Historic Preservation. Deborah?
Historic Preservation will meet this Wednesday, the 5th, 5 p.m. at Mueller Center.
Thank you. Evans Plunge Advisory. Linda?
The Evans Plunge Advisory Committee will meet February 13th, 2025 at noon at the Plunge.
Thank you. Parks Recreation. Larry? Linda?
Parks Rec will meet this Wednesday, the 5th, here at the Mueller Center at 2 p.m. Everybody is invited.
Thank you. Planning and Zoning. Deborah?
Planning and Zoning will meet February 19th, 6 p.m. at City Hall.
Thank you. Public Safety. Bill? JR?
Public Safety will meet this Thursday, February 6th, 1 p.m. at the Mueller Center Conference Room.
Thank you. Public Works. Bill? Hal?
Okay, so much for your clean sweep. Public Works met Tuesday, January 28th, 1 p.m. at the Mueller Center. Present were Hal Glanville, myself, Gary Telkamp, Deborah Johnston, City Administrator Jacqueline Kelsey, Public Works Engineer Tracy Bastian, Wastewater Foreman Jason Correll, Water Department Foreman Sean Hiley, Street Department Superintendent Billy Morrow. Members of the public present were Craig Romey and George Cotty. Under communications from the public, Craig Romey brought 2 items, one regarding the sidewalk obstruction on Main Street, which was deferred to a later agenda item. A second item regarding a car he believed to be illegally parked. He was reminded when cars were observed that he thought to be illegally parked, dispatch should be notified at the time so they could be dealt with promptly. George Cotty was present to thank the committee for their recommendation to repair the portions of his driveway that were removed and damaged as part of the waterline break repair process. Additionally, he expressed concern over the city's insurance company handling of his claim. Those concerns will be communicated to the Admin Finance Committee under a separate memo. Councilwoman Johnston shared about some irregular sidewalk panels on the Freedom Trail. Street Superintendent Morrow informed the committee those were on the work list. Under old business, under the wayfinding sign project, there was no update from ISG. Under the historic stairway engineering project, all documents have been received from KLJ. Grant application dates have been communicated to KLJ, so the city will have the separate packets available for grant applications. Under tree trimming communications, the city administrator is working with code enforcement specialists on the process for identification and notification of properties needing to trim their trees. Under the Valley View estimate and resident discussion update, the committee reviewed the project estimate provided by the Public Works engineer and is continuing to assess a proposed solution to the drainage issue. Under new business, the street lane markings on East University and Chicago near the Wandering Bison, those lanes need to be clearly marked. Streets Department will work to identify the proper lane width and markings, and the proper no parking area on the north side of East University. 841 Almond Street water bill review request. The request was reviewed, and as the circumstances did not meet the criteria set forth in the ordinance, the request for the adjustment of the bill is not recommended by the committee. Under departmental summaries, under streets, the free dump week has been set for June 9th through the 13th and September 8th through the 12th. Under Mueller Center drainage work list, the one call has been made and work will proceed, but only as far as on-hand material allows. Under the water department, repairs of a leak was made on South River Street between Galveston Avenue and Houston Avenue on, I think it was January 26th. Under wastewater, they're continuing to assess inspection and maintenance plans. Specifically, we're working to identify an inspection contractor to conduct ultrasonic thickness testing on the piping in the pump pit, so we'll know if we actually have to replace any of that piping. We're continuing to address odor elimination with system maintenance and chemicals and the addition of a new chemical. There was manhole spillage, one of the sewer manholes near the Highway 18 bypass. The spill was addressed for the regulatory instructions. And there was a lot of white material that had plugged up the sewer. So folks, if it says don't flush it, don't flush it. It will keep the stuff that should run down the pipe running down the pipe. That was free. That wasn't in the minutes. There's no update from the Public Works engineer. And under code enforcement, and this was the item deferred from public comment, the sidewalk obstruction on Main Street is being actively worked by the code enforcement officer and the business owners.
Wait, is Main Street North River?
No, it's what looks like an alley behind. That's actually Main Street.
I was trying to figure out where Main Street was, so thank you for clarifying.
You got International, then again. Up that
That's
Main
not
Street.
National?
National.
No, that's the side.
That's the side one.
between.
Side is
Oh,
National.
okay, the one in between.
Main is all the way through.
The one behind the smokehouse.
You know where the telephone company's at up that road?
Yeah, okay.
The city administrator took comments regarding weed control and sidewalk clearing in the empty lots north of the Fargo building and informed those present that those issues were being addressed with the property owners. The active and inactive project information has been updated and can be found on the current Public Works report on the city website. The meeting adjourned at 2:42 p.m. and the next meeting will be February 25th at 1 p.m. at the Mueller Center Conference Room. Any questions? Other than where Main
Thanks.
Street is.
Hal, is there anything you'd like to add?
No, sir, well done for a clean sweep.
All right. So Southern Hills Golf Course Advisory, the course is still closed, so I don't have an update for you there. Brings us to City Administrator report. Jacqueline, is there anything you'd like to share with the council?
No, I don't have anything tonight.
Thank you. Misty, Finance Officer report?
Thank you, Mayor. You do have my monthly finance officer report and financial reports, including the year-to-date profit loss summary, the fund summary report, the cash balance report, and the investment reports. Those do not reflect the entire month of January, just due to timing. As you review these monthly reports, note that the first few months of the year are usually slow in revenue collection and heavy on expenses. The city developed a good plan last year in September, which is our budget for 2025, and if we stick to it, I expect this condition to improve as the year progresses. As always, if you're concerned about any of the reports or have any questions about city finances, please ask. I do have time, even though I'm about to tell you how busy my February is going to look. I always have time for finance questions. The most part of February and the first part of March, I work heavily on the compilation, the analytics, and the reconciliations for the 2024 financial statements. They're required as part of our annual audit and required for the preparation of the 2024 annual report, which will be presented by the first meeting in May. As of today, most of our revenues have been collected for 2024, with the exception of just a few. It's my hope that this batch of payables will be the last of 2024. That's when I wrote this, but I've already gotten more. So you'll see another batch of 2024 payables in the second meeting in February, and hopefully that's the last of them will be wrapped up. Please bear with me as I try to focus my time and attention on these very important tasks, and I'm trying to manage that with some personal stuff too. So if I seem a little frazzled, it's not you, and please remember I do always have time to answer your financial questions. We did prepare and distribute in the finance office 147 W-2s for 2024 and 25 1099s. I kind of explained that process in my memo. I won't go into detail at this meeting. I also submitted our 2025 South Dakota Public Assurance Alliance Anniversary Rating Supplement and Renewal, and I give you some detail about that, and I encourage you to ask questions about that SDPAA, which we have been members of for over 25 years. If you're concerned with that coverage, then you obviously don't understand what they cover for us. So I would be happy to go over that with you. There is no one else in the state that offers the services that we get through our insurer. Between February 15th and March 1st, we'll officially publish the required notice of vacancy for our upcoming 2025 municipal election. We're also planning to post notice on the monthly utility bills, the city website, and Facebook. This year we have 5 council seats open. There are 4 two-year terms for each ward and 1 one-year term in Ward 4. Those members with expiring terms include Ward 1, Hal Glanville, Ward 2, Travis Orbach, Ward 3, Linda Varvel, Ward 4, Deborah Johnston, and Gary Telkamp. The earliest date to begin circulating nominating petitions is March 1st, and the deadline for filing is March 25th at 5 p.m. There's a statute that sets the number of required signatures, and I have those listed on here. This year, the total number of signatures required on the petitions are 46 for Ward 1, 41 for Ward 2, 36 for Ward 3, and 39 for Ward 4. If someone you know is interested in running or has any questions regarding alderman responsibilities or the election process, please inquire at City Hall. Tuesday, January 9th was the first day of the 100th session of the South Dakota Legislature. We have 20 new Senate members out of 35 this year, and 30 new House representatives out of a total of 70. We still get weekly updates from the Municipal League. If you're interested in receiving those and not getting them, please let me know, and I can easily get you added. I've also included Sarah's email at the League. You can email her directly if you'd like as well. Excellent information and links are also on their website and the South Dakota legislature.gov website. As of the 24th of January, only 198 bills have been introduced, but as of the 31st, 392 have been introduced. So about the same time last year, there were about 381, so there's a lot on their plates this year. They're considering an awful lot. The 2024 residential tax rebate payouts, this was the 5th and final year for 3 recipients, and all previously determined eligible participants have had at least 1 payment, so the last payments for this program will be made in late 2027. If I add this year's payments to the total payments we've made, almost $67,000 in payments over the last 5 years. The rebate program wasn't very well thought out, it was poorly implemented, it failed to meet the intended goals, so it was repealed, and the city will continue to make those payments through 2027. I left out of my report, but want to remind you that the next meeting is going to be on a Tuesday due to the President's Day holiday on Monday the 17th, so it'll be on Tuesday the 18th. Again, all read in your reports. Sounds like there's already one council member who maybe wants to talk about some of those. Obviously our budget to actual, everybody's in compliance because it's early in the year, we got plenty of budget to go. I'd point out our cash balance reports. Our water fund and wastewater fund are continuing to have sufficient but low cash balances. We knew that they'd suffer as a fund after the road project, so as we look for future projects for these funds, we need to keep in mind their limited cash flow. And also, I'd just like to point out the balance that's declining pretty quickly in our one major fund that pays all of our bills. So we need to keep that in mind as we approve expenses throughout the year. Even if it's in the budget, you gotta have cash to pay for it, so. We don't have any maturing investments at this time, and as a reminder, all of our investments are either required by statute or debt service. The next maturing bond issue will be our Evans Plunge Mineral Springs Debt Service Reserve, and that'll be on the 17th of April. So I'll give you some rates to consider when that comes due. That's all I have at this time, Mayor.
Any questions for Misty? Thank you. I don't have anything for you tonight, so that brings us to our executive session. Can I get a motion to go into executive session?
Make a motion, we go into executive session in accordance with South Dakota Codified Law 1-25-2-3, legal.
Second.
Larry. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. There won't be any action taken when we come out of executive session. Not sure how long we'll be.